All right, so finger training. What do we want to know about finger training? We have a couple different ways to train our fingers. Probably one of the easiest ones that you can do at home is using a no hang here. You can always do this on a hang board, keep in mind, but obviously the forces are going to be a little bit higher. So keep that in mind. You might have to do some of them on an edge overhead with your feet on the ground using quite a bit of support, and it's going to be less tangible than something just from the floor. Now, if you don't have a way to measure it, somewhere like the force board or a tin deck, then well, no matter what you do, it's going to be more about the relative intensity of the given effort than it will be the numbers in any case. And regardless of the numbers, you can get stronger just by putting in the right frequency and dosage. So that's what I'll be explaining here. Today I'm using this. It's a edge from Specialized Masochism. Specialized Masochism. He does some great work. It's an unlevel edge, so it's made so that my fingers are all getting the same stimulus, so I don't have to train them individually, and it also is just a little more comfy. He makes these. They also come with spacers, so you can make the edges smaller. Highly recommend if you're going to be training your fingers. This is just a really time-efficient way to get a really good stimulus, and they're comfortable. They're not tweaky. These are all big perks. So that being said, let's get started. I have a load strap here. You can use a band to facilitate this. But the key is going to be getting the stimulus in the fingers and not necessarily like our shoulder or our legs. So what I'm going to do is I'll demonstrate the way that I like to do this. So I have this set up with the load strap. What I do is I stand and I try to make it so that the width is variable, and that's going to increase or decrease the height, right? So as I go wider, it's going to draw this down, getting us in the right position. So what I do is this is right or left. So this side is right for me. I want to find a position where my shoulder is not necessarily being dragged down, but able to like lock in. So we're not able to easily shrug our shoulder up or extend our legs fully. So we want our legs, and that's why I do a standing position and not like knees bent, because when you get here, you have this temptation to extend your legs and then inflate the numbers or the effort. So what we're going to do is pick a grip. For most people, that's going to be a half crimp grip, and the half crimp is going to be whichever finger hits 90 degrees at the PIP or the middle joint there first. So for me, that happens to be my middle finger and the ring finger at the same time. They both hit 90 degrees, and the other fingers kind of just do like a gentle curl. So rather than being perfectly straight, they're curled. For you, it might be a little bit difficult because one of your fingers does that weird thing, but that's beside the point. So find a comfortable grip. What we're going to do is have a nice open cascade, and we're going to pull into the grip. So in this case, it's half crimp, and this is called a overcoming isometric. So if you're measuring it, you can do one effort that's more maximal and take a percentage of that and do that until you no longer can sustain that, which is something that there's tons of evidence on. But if you're just self-regulating, then we're just going to do about a 6 to 8 out of 10 for a number of reps. Just like any strength effort, we're going to think anywhere all the way down to 3 reps, all the way up to like 10 or 12. That's totally fine. But essentially, you want to leave a couple left in the tank, just like we do with strength training. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my fingers more open here, and I'm going to just essentially use just my fingers. Think about pulling yourself into the ground with your fingers rather than pulling up with your arm. What we'll do, as you can see, I'm just going to twist it here so you can see it a little bit better. Watch my fingers, open, and I'm going to pull into that half crimp grip and let go. That's 1 rep. If you're measuring it like with this, you can measure it and try and sustain a certain number. Once you drop below that number, then you just call that set. Same as anything, we're going to do 2 to 3 sets of however many reps you can sustain for quality. So if you're just auto-regulating this and you're just doing it by hand, so I'm not measuring it right now, I'll just go through a full set just so you can see how one goes, just with my right hand here. And this is called an overcoming isometric, which you're probably familiar with at this point. But anyway, so ready? 3, 2, 1. Pull for 2 to 4 seconds. Sustain. You can see I'm shaking a little bit. I'm trying quite hard. Ready? So this is another 5 to 10 seconds between reps. We're going to go again. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Pull 3, 4. Again, 2 reps. I usually do these for anywhere from 3 to 5 reps. So we'll just do another one right here. 3, 2, 1. Pull with my fingers only. Good. And we'll do one more. 3, 2, 1. You see I'm setting in between as well. I'm not worrying about keeping tension the whole time in my rests. 3, 2, 1. That's a whole set. So do that with both hands, obviously. If you're measuring it, you might find a discrepancy between hands. Quite normal. Most people exhibit anywhere up to 15% asymmetry between hands. And really what matters is that you're just sustaining an effort for a period of time, but that's a really basic way to do it. The other way to do it is if you have an existing weight. So we can use that same protocol, stand so that our legs are straight. I'm just gonna switch hands here just so I don't have to use my hand because I'm gonna go climbing later. And what you can do is if you have a measuring device, you can sustain an effort for a period of time. And we're gonna think leaving a few seconds left in the tank rather than repetitions left in the tank, and we can sustain it for a period of time. So we're gonna take this half crimp grip, and we're just gonna exert a force. You can see half crimp, 90 degrees. And we're just gonna try and hold that and try not to allow it to open up during the course. That's not the point of this. The point is resisting a force successfully for a period of time and trying to just keep a few seconds left in the tank. So I would say, just like hangboarding, you're trying to sustain an effort for around 10 seconds, all the way up to 30 seconds. 30 seconds will be more like a density hang you'll probably see in literature. But any of those, I would say if you want to do both, once do overcoming, and then once do the yielding. That's what I'm showing you here, where you're trying to like resist and sustain that grip for a period of time. Once each per week, or the easiest place to start is just doing those kind of finger curls that I'm showing you, going from kind of open into the half crimp position, or just flexing wherever you can if your finger range is limited in some case. That's perfect to do twice a week. I'd probably space them further away from any days that you're actually climbing, or you can do them as a warm-up to climbing. If you're only doing 1 or 2 sets as a warm-up, it can be a really good way to start instead of doing a whole bunch of V0s or lower level climbs, get you up to the level that you want to start in the session to progress a little bit quicker as a progressive warm-up. So that's basic finger training. It's really not that difficult. You can auto-regulate at home. You can use a band and change the band instead of using a load strap and use that for resistance. Or you can hang load off of a pin, as you've probably seen, like a loading pin, or putting a strap through a plate with a flexible loading pin, or strapping a dumbbell. The only trick was with the dumbbell, you don't want it to like rotate a ton because it can be kind of annoying to deal with. So I would put a couple load straps on either side so that it's mostly secured. And you can progress weight in that way and keep that same intensity or like proximity to failure, leaving 2 to 3 seconds left in the tank for the yielding, and leaving probably at least 2 to 3 reps in the tank, or seeing a decrease in your capacity if you have a measuring device like this. And I can show you a measuring device, like how it looks on screen while I'm doing it, if you'd so like, but that should be a pretty good place to start. And yeah, you'll have stronger fingers in no time.